Okay, we are live on YouTube. And as soon as it comes up here, I'm going to mute out YouTube. And then we will get going, get it rolling. So I'm excited. It is September the 13th, 2020. And so we're celebrating. Today is the actual anniversary of Mary Kay. 57 years ago, 1963, Mary Kay Incorporated was started. And so, yes, where is my clapper? We need to all do a little clap for Mary Kay. And so my background is actually not 1963, but 1985, because that is when I joined Mary Kay. And so we have a little fun that we're going to have tonight. And I'm going to take this off my beautiful background, even though it is so amazing. I'm going to take it off because I'm going to show you all a few things tonight. And then we're going to have some of the directors share some things that I asked them to share as well. Okay, so you guys, I joined in September of 1985. And so this is my 35th year in the company. And so I went through some of my archives and I found a couple things that I wanted to share with y'all. And first, the thing is, have y'all ever told something you told it so many times that you knew it was true and later to find out it wasn't true? Well, I thought that I signed up on Mary Kay's anniversary, but in reality, when I opened my Mary Kay date book from 1985, okay, 85, 86, I did not join on Mary Kay's anniversary that I've been saying for years and years and years. I joined on 9/11. So there you go. My real anniversary, the day I actually signed the agreement, because I put on here that I sent off my showcase an $817 wholesale order plus sales aids. I went to the bank and this before Mary Kay took credit cards, and I got $1,000 loan. Now, before anybody on YouTube land or anywhere else goes, you didn't have to come in with inventory just like you don't now. However, I wanted to come in with inventory because my consultant had inventory, and I knew that I wanted to be like her, where if someone bought something, I could give it to them. Okay. And I still feel the same way today, as you can see behind me with all my inventory. But I actually put my agreement in the mail that day. I went to a Mary Kay sales meeting on September the 9th, Monday. On Tuesday, I got a letter from my parents that had the title to my car they had paid for that I drove through college, because I certainly didn't have any credit or any money at all. And the next day, I took it to the bank and or maybe even that day, and I got myself a little loan, and I called my consultant. Now, this shows you not to judge people, because I had no money, none. And so, but she took me to that meeting, and I found a way to get not only in, but an order, a qualified order. And this is 35 years ago. So it makes me laugh when people freak out about a minimum order. I'm like, really? Anyway, I was all in. If I was going to do it, I was going to do it. Well, y'all, this is the deal. They told me that I had to book and hold 5 parties in 2 weeks. And so my kit came in on Monday the 16th. And matter of fact, no, my kit didn't come in until Thursday the 19th. All right. It took a long time. You had to mail the agreement in, then you had to wait for it to be processed, and then they mailed it back. Mary Kay actually got it, and my actual anniversary date with Mary Kay is 9/16. And so I got my kit in on Thursday, and then on the very next week started my 2 weeks. And so I did exactly what they told me to do, you guys. I booked parties, and look right here at the bottom what my sales were for my very first week. $457.50. Now, you may think that's not that big a deal. That was so big to me, y'all. That is so big. My paycheck from my 40-hour-a-week job, once they took out my taxes and all the other expenses that are on there, it really was literally $120 a week. That's for working 40 hours after they took all the stuff out, which, as a young girl, you're like, why can't I have all my money? Why? Well, who is the IRS and why are they getting everything I earn? I still have no money, and I'm working all day long. Anyway, my first party, I had 4 people there. I sold $23.50. Isn't that exciting? My second party, I had 6 people there. I booked 3 parties and I sold $135. And my third party, I had 5 people there. I booked 3 parties and I sold $251. And so that made, and then I did have a little reorder. I don't know, that's probably my mother, right? Of $48. So I ended up selling $457. And so I went to my meeting and that next Monday night, and I was the queen of sales. It was so exciting. I just couldn't even believe I made that much money. So then the next week, of course, guess what, y'all? I booked more parties. And I just was thinking about why, if you think, why am I not making money in Mary Kay, or why am I not more successful? It is really just one thing. You're not working. Bam, slap, right? Anytime you're really not making money, you're really not working. You're thinking about working, but you're really not. Because even like 100 years ago, like this week, I had 4 people attend the first party. I got 1 booking and I sold $139. Second party, I had 5 people there. I had 1 booking and I sold $55. Now this is, not huge parties. So, but at the end of the week, I sold $199. Okay. And then my third week, look what I had. These are parties, more parties. And some of them were postponed just like normal. Of course, I was working all day long. So these were the evenings, but I ended up having 2 parties and I sold $211. The next week, parties. Y'all, this is what, like, if you want to make money, like you come in, you sign your agreement, you're excited. You can't sit around and think, I wonder if somebody's going to be my customer. I just wish I had a customer. You guys, you have to go get some customers by doing some parties. Like people don't just knock your door down to get Mary Kay. You got to do parties, and you can do them virtually, Zoom, Facebook, FaceTime, or you could do them in person. I this week decided it was time to open my business. So I had 2 parties and I sold over $1,500 this week. And most of it was from my parties. Over $1,000 was from the parties and the rest were reorders. But, one of the parties I had 3 people, and the other one was really double facial. I just had 2 people. And so, but I'm just saying, it feels so good to be back in business, right? And not that I haven't done the virtual parties, but I mean in person too. So you guys, I was talking to some of the directors earlier, and some people are willing to still meet with you. We haven't asked a lot, but a lot of people are willing to get out, and they, the nail salons are open, other salons are open. Spread them out at the table and give them a facial, y'all. I'm serious. Or do your virtual. Either way. But I went through this whole entire book, you guys, and I was very faithful about doing what Mary Kay told me to do, which was, I always had my little Saturday summary page. And this little Saturday summary page was how we would recruit people. We would take them our date book, and I would flip through here and show them. They said, how do you make money? And I just show them my weeks and what I sold. And so y'all, I looked through this whole book. There was probably only about 4 weeks that I did not sell anything, like the week of Christmas and some other times. But pretty much throughout my whole entire first year, I held parties. And then guess what? When you're doing, 2 or 3 parties a week, then you're really doing 15 to 20 faces a week. So at the end of a year, you have customers. And then your reorder business just keeps growing and growing and growing, which is pretty cool. So I wanted to show you that. I also wanted to show you this. Okay, so in my kit, these were the 4 things that we got. So we had this little book, and why, you think, how in the world did you keep this? I don't know why, but here I am 35 years later. And so this was a getting started. It was a perfect start workbook. And you guys, I was right out of college, so I was used to workbooks and I was used to studying. So I don't even remember a new consultant training class. You basically got your kit and you got this little book out, and you could see I just underlined stuff, whatever they told us. And one of the things I underlined, it says, as your career progresses, take the opportunity to attend other unit functions, your training workshops, and once a year, your seminar in Dallas and career conference. And I'm like, okay. So that I knew I had to do that because I'm in Mary Kay. That's what you're supposed to do. And so, I just, read through my book, and this is how I learned how to do Mary Kay. It had how to do your little weekly accomplishment sheets. It showed how to do your, in your date book, how to fill out your date book. How to fill out your order form. Because, we had to mail them in, right? And so then we had this book, and it was called the Mary Kay Skincare Class. And this one, it had, you guys, okay, so you know how good we got it right now, right? You can watch a video and watch someone do it. You can go to In Touch, and there's all kind of stuff on there on MK University. Well, on this one, it actually had all the words that you were supposed to say at the party, exactly what you're supposed to say. And then when we got this, we had to fill out the workbook and answer all the questions in the back, all the way. I mean, every single bit of it. And I filled out the whole. Like I said, I felt like I was a good student, so I did the whole entire book so that I would know what I was doing. And that's how I taught myself how to hold a skincare party. You know, I did go see, my consultant had one that I was a hostess at, and then I read that, and I had a little cassette tape. Then we had this cute little book that had your business supplies, and it has everything, like all the stuff. Like now you look at it and you're like, retro, all kind of stuff to use for your business. So we had that, and then we had this was the consultant's guide. Isn't that nice? And it was in color. You know, and so it had, you know, all the things, kind of like our Start Something More. I mean, I say it was in color, the front was in color anyway. And so this was all the guides. And then this is how we did color, you guys. Y'all get a kick out of this. This says Mary Kay Color Awareness Profile. And then they gave us these circles. And then what we were supposed to do, we would go to a party and we would line up these circles like this. Okay. And then we would say, like I would go, Jana, now I want you to go through here and select 5 or 6 colors that you really like, that you're kind of attracted to. And then we let them do it. And then when we got done, we pull it and we would tell them if they were more warm or they were more cool. And then we were really, y'all, this was complicated, right? So then we had this little thing. And so this would show us, we would say, okay, first of all, we would look here and we would find their foundation color, and we would turn this inside wheel to whatever foundation color they were. Let's say they were sheer beige. Then we would say, okay, is she, warm or cool? So you look on the back and you would turn this to, like, if they're cool, they would be, like this. And then we would turn it back around, and then we would say, okay, so these are the eyeshadow colors that would look best on you, you right here. And this would be your lips. And anyway, we had all this way of telling people how to do, their colors, because believe me when I tell you, I had no idea how to do it. And this was our lookbook. Now get ready. It's got a lot of pages in it. That's it. This was our lookbook. It was this one sheet. This is our order form. It had everything that we sold right here. Isn't that exciting? And so that's all we needed, It had our directions, it had the prices, and that was our order books, And so then when we want to sell them, we would tape them, and then we put the address right here, and sometimes we would mail them. And then we had this little handy cheat sheet, and this had the color wheel on the front. Put it back here so you can see it. Mary Kay Color Wellness. And then on the back, it had all of our colors. So we were pretty advanced. And then I'll show you something that they used to do this was 1986. The fashion world, they would send us like these, and this is actual material, and it would tell us what were going to be the colors for the spring that we need to focus on. And so this was like materials. This was like your warmth. This was like your the cools. And then these were the colors that they would come out to match for that season. And so they give us a little color card to show us how to do it. And then they got fancy, and this was in 1988, and they gave us this, and this had all the foundations here. And then you open it up, and it had all your lip colors, your cheek colors, and your eyeshadow colors like this. And then we would show people how to do it. And I think we're going back to colors like this one right here. Come on, right? Let's get some purple and pink on your eye and blue on your eyes. We look good in that, right? Okay, so that was called color awareness. It was a big deal in Mary Kay. And then we even had this was the guide to color awareness that showed us exactly. We thought we were something else at this point. Look at these pictures right here, y'all. of how to do our Mary Kay. But y'all, it was fun, and Mary Kay is always growing, you know. And then we got really, really fancy in the 90s, and this is called Color Logic. And in Color Logic, this had all the colors right here, and then you had the wheels based on like the your foundation color. So you would just turn this little wheel here, and you see it would turn the colors to what colors would be good on your customer. Isn't that awesome? And so you had ivory cool, ivory warm, beige cool, bronze warm, bronze cool. And then we would use this to match our customers, right? And so, and then I want to show you this. This is 1985 seminar. And the picture of Mary Kay and Richard Rogers right here. This is Susie Vickers right here. Or actually that's yeah, well, that's the Susie Vicker Award. I don't know if that's not Susie Vickers. That's who got it that year. Miss Go Give, basically. This was the stage, you guys. Look at that. And Mary Kay would come on stage with her son, Richard. It was something else. And in the back of this, you won't be able to see it all, but there's pictures of, like, these were the Ruby Nationals back then. My national was this lady right here. Let's see, right here. This was Alma Gaines right here. And then Idell Moffat right here. And so I just love it. So that was just some little throwbacks for when I started. But not only have things like that changed, my grandmother sold in the 60s. This is the bags they used to use, paper bags, to put their reorders in. And then when I started, the bags were like this. Okay, had a little MK all over it. And then we had some different ones like this. Okay, and then we had some like this. And of course, y'all know we have now, we've got these, the black ones. Okay, a couple of other things that are kind of cool is this is some Mary Kay, like this is the Glamour Compact that I used to sell back in the 80s. This even has my sticker on it. And so we put our lipstick on with a brush, a palette, because you definitely did not want to use lipstick because it would stretch your lips out. Then they came out with it later, right? This was our cheek colors, right? This was a few years later. This is our eyeliner right here, and you would just wet your eyebrow, your eye thing, and then there's your liner. That's all you needed, right? We didn't have any other liners but that one for a while. And then this is what the skincare looked like. This was Magic Mask. Okay, I'm scared to open that, right? This is another one of our pressed powder compact. And I know some of you have seen it. And then we used to keep all our stuff in these. And these kind of have mold on them. But somehow I did not throw them away. So anyway, I thought y'all would enjoy some of these Mary Kay retro during the anniversary of our company. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you a little slideshow. I'm going to share the screen with you a minute. Okay, hang on just a minute. All right, let's just play this. So happy anniversary to Mary Kay. We're so excited that Mary Kay Ash, took a chance and really started this dream company. Now this is the original Mary Kay showcase here. Let me see if I can move these over here. It was a blue box instead of a pink one. And then later it was white, and then it came to pink. So this were the products that they had. They said it's more like a science experiment, way back when it first started. And of course, these are some pictures I found of Mary Kay Ash and some of her pink Cadillacs and pictures of her. And so she loved her little poodle, her little dog. And a lot of times we'd have prizes that were these little white poodles because she loved it so much. And, but this was like, look at this car right here, Mary Kay 1. I mean, this was a big honking pink Cadillac, and that's the same car right here. And so Mary Kay was so cute. Look at her in her little wigs. And then we had this one. This was one that the Nationals had, and this was on one of the covers of the magazines. We just love that one. Of course, our headquarters, if you're new, you may not know, but they're in Dallas, Texas. This is a picture of the front of the headquarters. And then our brand new, we call it R3, Richard R. Rogers, which was Mary Kay's son. This is the manufacturing plant that just opened last year. And this is what I looked like selling Mary Kay back in the day. This is my very first 1988 red Grand Am that I won in my red hot red jacket. And so there you go. I was sitting in front of where I work at Colson Printing Company, and I had somebody take a picture of me in my red hot red jacket with my new red Grand Am. And then this is, of course, through the 90s, we had to do the glamour shots, right? And so this is the bigger the hair, the better, and the bigger the earrings. And so anyway, I thought y'all might enjoy that as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to let me see who I had the order of this. I know y'all know because I already had it out there. But Jana, if you'll just unmute, I'm gonna let you read this, and then I will highlight you instead of this while you talk after you read it.
Okay, sounds great. So faith helped Mary Kay overcome obstacles and reach the pinnacle of success. She knew it formed a solid foundation for true success in life. Many of her words reflect this belief and her love for sharing it. My priorities have always been God first, family second, career third. I have found that when I put my life in this order, everything seems to work out. God was my first priority early in my career when I was struggling to make ends meet. Through the failures and success I have experienced since then, my faith has remained unchecked. Hope is wishing for something to come true. Faith is belief that it will come true. Believe that for every problem God gives you, He will also provide you with a solution. Behind every success story in Mary Kay, you will find a simple explanation of great faith. I believe that every person has a capacity for greatness, that God planted the seeds there, and it's up to us to make them blossom forth with patience, guidance, and belief. It is up to us to discover the multiple talents that we possess and bring them into fruition. Many women have made the mistake of changing their beliefs to accommodate their work. It must be the other way around. No circumstance is so unusual that it demands a double standard or separates us from our faith. No matter how fast the world changes, exemplary values must remain constant.
Okay, and I'm going to let her just, Jana, just whatever you would like to say toward that aspect of Mary Kay.
Okay, so you guys, I love that Mary Kay was a woman of faith. Because of that, that's got eternal consequences in all of our lives. So when I first started Mary Kay, I was going to church, but I didn't have a really strong, super strong relationship with Jesus Christ because I really didn't know what that was about. And though from our church, the Bible is read every Sunday, I didn't get into the word myself. And so anyway, it was just gradually. Nobody ever invited me to their church because I would have said, no way, Jose, that's crazy. You're trying to, but it was just because I was around those women of faith. And so I believe that God will put dreams in your heart and He will show you where you're going to be. It's up to us to believe Him and to do the work to back it up to get there. I've had so many moments where it's really funny when you look in hindsight. It was always a really big goal. And when you don't give up and you have that belief, I firmly believe, and I know that Rosie and Katie obviously can back me up in this, and they've been there for some of those moments, that something really big was going to happen. And I'm like, really, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I just know it's going to happen. I can feel it in my gut. I can feel it in my heart. All we have to do is believe and just keep doing the work. And so, tens of thousands of dollars coming into play, just things falling into place where I couldn't control them. And so sometimes I think that we need to stop trying to control things so much. And I love how you talked about, you just did it. Somebody gave you the book and you just read the book and you just did it. So if we could just do it and stop trying to control things and trying to do God's work and just, early on, I always said, Lord, if you would do the heart work with the people, I would be glad to be your hands and feet. I'll be glad to do the footwork if you'll do the heart work. Mm-hmm. And so you guys, if you, I love that Mary Kay was centered around faith, because you know what? It's too much pressure to think that we're responsible for our success on our own. Mm-hmm. So anyway, take her advice, and, get things in order. So like faith first, family second, and career third.
That's right. Thank you, Janice. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. And the next is Latrice, and let me share the screen again and go to the next slide. Okay. And she is going to be talking about, so you'll want to unmute Latrice, and she's going to talk about success.
Okay. I will ask this question, Cleta. I can't see the bottom of what I'm supposed to be reading, and I've tried to arrow down when Jana was talking. I did save it on my phone.
Okay.
So, but anyway, I don't know how I can make it go up.
Okay. I'll read the bottom one for you.
Okay. Success. Mary Kay believed in the potential of women so much so she encouraged them to set extraordinary goals and then work their plan. To her, success was enthusiasm and action. We must have a theme, a goal, a purpose in our lives. If you don't know where you're aiming, you don't have a goal. My goal is to live my life in such a way that when I die, someone can say she cared. When you reach an obstacle, turn it into an opportunity. You have the choice. You can overcome and be a winner, or you can allow it to overcome you and be a loser. The choice is yours and yours alone. Refuse to throw in the towel. Go that extra mile that failures refuse to travel. It is far better to be exhausted from success than to be rested from failure. The definition of successful people is simply ordinary people with extraordinary determination. You cannot keep determined people from success. If you place stumbling blocks in their way, they will use them for stepping stones and climb to new heights. People who succeed have a goal, a dream, and make their plans and follow them. I was taught to put my best effort into anything I did, and I can honestly say I've always done that. Still, there were many times when I failed, many times when I was disappointed. We didn't set the world on fire from the first day. Disappointments, setbacks, and work have created the company as it is today. I envisioned a company in which any woman could become just as successful as she wanted to be. The doors would be wide open to opportunity for women who were willing to pay the price and had the courage to dream.
That was all of it, Latrice.
Oh, is that all of it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I barely can see the bottom line. But
Yeah,
anyway, I kind of was like looking over in there, seeing if I could see it.
No problem. So if you want to just kind of add to any of that, anything you'd like to say.
I do. So this is what I want to add, y'all. First of all, I was very excited when you showed your date book because I had mine. And it's funny because I thought I started in 91. This is 93, but that was when I became a director. So I must have thrown away my consultant one. I don't know, but y'all, after I read that today, and I thought to myself, Mary Kay paved the way for us, okay? Cleta showed she was a good student. I'm going to say I was too. I know I was a good student. They told us to do it. We did it. And y'all, honestly, as those words said, there's the plan. There's no way you could find an excuse. You just have to do the work. And, one of the things that I see every day when I hear from people that work in corporate America, that they don't have these opportunities. They can't just, tomorrow I'm going to move up into a higher position, or I want more commission, or, we have that choice. We get to set that. And so I just encourage y'all to be serious about this business. Am I frozen?
No.
Am I frozen? Okay, because my internet says it's going out. Anyway, I just encourage y'all to take this business seriously because everything's at your fingertips. The Great Starts program, if new consultants, seasoned consultants, it doesn't matter. Look under In Touch on education. The Great Starts program is there for you. the color confident, the skincare confident, Mary Kay University, y'all, we cannot come up with any excuses because all the training's there. And one of the things Cleta mentioned about weekly accomplishment sheets, y'all, I had husbands to look at my records. I want to know how many consultants send in their weekly accomplishment sheets. I recruited accomplishment sheets. But anyway, I just wanted to close with this. One of the definitions I looked up today on success was it said the desired outcome. That's what success means. What's your desired outcome? And I've had this on my desk since we went to leadership in Phoenix, Arizona many years ago. And it says from Psalms 37:4, delight yourself in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. And y'all, he will. So what is your desire in Mary Kay? Because what you ask for, you will get. So that's what I want to say.
I love it. Thank you, Latrice. That's perfect. That's perfect.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next is going to be Selah. And Selah's going to talk to us about business.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, business. As a visionary and an innovator, Mary Kay knew that standing still was the same as moving backward in a fast-changing, highly competitive business world. So it's no surprise that one of her greatest gifts was her passion for moving forward and inspiring others to join her. People are definitely a company's greatest asset. It doesn't make any difference whether their product is cars or cosmetics. A company is only as good as the people it keeps. Amen. We need leaders who add value to the people and the organization they lead, who work for the benefit of others and not just for their own personal gain, who inspire and motivate rather than intimidate and manipulate, who live with people to know their problems and live with God in order to solve them, and who follow a moral compass that points in the right direction regardless of the trends. I have learned to imagine an invisible sign around each person's neck that says, "Make me feel important." I respond to it immediately, and I never cease to be amazed at how positively people react. If I were to teach a first-year management course, I would instruct every student to wear a "Make Me Feel Important" sign for the entire semester. By the end of the term and for the rest of their lives, they would imagine seeing the same sign hanging from the neck of everyone they met. What wonderful relationships they would build with their spouses, friends, co-workers, and customers. Our company was begun with only one objective, that of giving women the chance to succeed, an opportunity that simply did not exist in the early 60s. I just couldn't believe that a woman's brain was worth 50 cents on the dollar. With all my heart, I wanted to change that. Okay, wow, that's a lot.
Yes.
First of all, Mary Kay was brave and courageous, and she stepped out on faith to start this business for us. It was in the 60s when, as we all know, she could not even get a loan from the bank and had to use her son's money to start this business because women were looked down on as just not worthy as men. And women did not make the kind of money that men did back then. Mary Kay started the business with the principles of God first, family second, and career third. And that was the moral compass and the golden rule: do unto others as we would have others do unto us. And so those are still in place today and so important. I love that about the business because, over the years, there's been situations where, you say, oh, well, what should I do in this situation? And you can always go to the golden rule and say, what would I want to be done to me? And so it makes it so easy. And then make me feel important. If we all had this sign, around, everywhere we went, we saw someone that had that sign. Y'all, the world is screaming for connection. Even before COVID, I know that before cell phones and all that, we didn't have 24-hour news. You couldn't be updated on what's going on 24/7. And I just wonder if we feel more educated and more informed today and more connected with all the ways to connect or not. I don't think so, because really we use that as a way of connecting as opposed to calling. One of my goals for the past couple of weeks has been to call people every day. And it is amazing the people that say, thank you so much for calling me. It's people that I text a lot, but it is because the connection of calling and really making them feel important, that is how our business grows. Talking to them, saying, how can I help you? We just assume they think they know that we want to help. Like Cleta said in the beginning, she wouldn't have had customers. There was the only way to do parties back then was to call and say, hey girl, you want to get together? There was no social media. Even when I started, we did a workshop one night, and I went home and booked. I came back and I was the top booker. I had booked like 25 parties, within 24 hours by calling people. And so there is a huge hunger in the world today, I think. And I think it'll help our business grow to connect and make people feel important. And because that was the Mary Kay way.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Thank you, Selah. It's so funny about the calling and how, that is the only way that we could, it's the only way that we could really work this business is through calling people. And so it's kind of crazy how we're so resistant to call people today. We've just got out of the habit thinking people won't answer the phone. Well, what if they did? Get excited. Someone might answer. Okay, we're going to go to the next one, and it is the Mary Kay values. And Connie Bush is going to read this for us. Connie?
All right, thank you. So values. Mary Kay hoped that anyone who did business with the company would be richer for it, not financially, but also, not only financially, but also spiritually. She built the culture on the golden rule. Thank you for saying that, Selah. And the go-give spirit with honesty and integrity as the cornerstones. Before you ever receive the wonderful treasures of a happy life, you must first give. Give of yourself. Be of service to others. Only what you give can be multiplied back into your own life. That is the law of the harvest, the law of the tenfold return. If you give nothing, even if it is multiplied, you are going to receive nothing. Integrity is the ingredient that will enable you to forge rapidly ahead on the highway that leads to success. It advertises you as being an individual who will always come through. Whatever you say you will do, do it, even if you have to move heaven and earth. Each of us should have a philosophy about how we conduct ourselves with others. A long time ago, I chose as my standard the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Some might consider the golden rule corny and old-fashioned, but no one can deny its simple truth. Imagine how much better our world would be if everyone lived by this creed. The real success of our personal lives and careers can best be measured by the relationships we have with the people most dear to us, our family, friends, and co-workers. If we fail in this aspect of our lives, no matter how vast our worldly possessions or how high on the corporate ladder we climb, we will have achieved very little. And I think, really what this speaks to me, I mean, Selah kind of touched on it, talking about the golden rule. I think that, the best part of this business are the relationships that we forge. Sharon and I did an event together just 2 hours ago. And one of the things we talked the most about are the relationships you get out of this business. I think that not only the sisterhood, although I'm leaning towards saying siblinghood now, because there are some men that are joining with this business opportunity as well. And I think that, but most of the time we say the sisterhood, and it's so true. I've worked at one hospital for 35 years, and I have friends at that hospital that nothing compares to the girlfriends that you get through building the relationships with this business. And it's not just other consultants and directors, but building the relationship with your customers as well. And they know that that they're always going to be able to count on you to have what they need when they have a Mary Kay emergency. Your customers, once you have a good relationship with them, they're not going to ever hesitate to text you when they need something or to call you. And so keeping your word, I think that's just, part of the value of it. So if you tell someone, hey, I'm going to be over that way tomorrow at 5 o'clock, only an accident in the traffic should be what's keeping you from getting there by 5 o'clock. You know what I mean? You always want to follow through with what you tell people that you're doing. And I think that as you get to know all of the people on this call, specifically all of the directors on this call, we are all that way. If we say we're going to do something, no matter what, we do it. And we do, we do it with the respect. And in the Bible, it says you're going to reap what you sow. And it's so true. Your harvest comes back to you so much more when, the more you put into a relationship, the more you're going to get out of that relationship. So not just financially, but just, spiritually and as a person.
For sure. Thank you. Thank you so much, Connie. That was perfect. Okay, next, I believe we have Miss Rosie. Yes, on attitude. So let me just pull that up. Okay, Rosie.
Okay. This is so perfect for me this week. I love that I got to choose this. Mary Kay always said, attitude determines altitude. It's a powerful message that made an impression and reflected her gift for motivating women to achieve their potential. Don't limit yourself. Many people limit themselves to what they think they can do. You can go as far as your mind lets you. What you believe, remember, you can achieve. Every failure, obstacle, or hardship is an opportunity in disguise. Success in many cases is failure turned inside out. The greatest pollution problem we face today is negativity. Eliminate the negative attitude and believe you can do anything. Replace, if I can, I hope, maybe, with I can, I will, I must. I always greet our employees with a warm, hi, how are you? When a new employee answers, pretty good, how are you, Mary Kay? I'll say, you're not just good, you're great. Each time I see him or her afterwards, he or she will say, I'm great, and the smile will get bigger and bigger. If you act enthusiastic, you become enthusiastic, and it spreads like wildfire. Do you know that within your power lies every step you ever dreamed of stepping, and within your power lies every joy you ever dreamed of seeing? Within yourself lies everything you ever dreamed of being. Become everything that God wants you to be. It is within your reach. Dare to grow into your dreams and claim this as your motto. Let it be me. Okay, so I took this really seriously, and maybe I took it too seriously, but I spent a long time doing this because I had a lot of self-reflection on this. So I'm just going to kind of read a little bit what I have down. My couple pages of notes that I typed. So Mary Kay always said attitude determines altitude. And to me, that means with the right attitude, you can go as far as your mind lets you. What you believe, remember, you can achieve. What stops from having an attitude towards success, and I really thought about this a lot. I think society in general, people we don't know, or maybe people we do know. Maybe it's our parents, our spouse, our children, our friends influence our attitude. Maybe you were always advised to play it safe and not take risks. So I think failure is looked on so negatively by society. And what Mary Kay said was that every failure, obstacle, or hardship is an opportunity in disguise. Success in many cases is failure turned inside out. She said, and I believe this truly more today than ever before, that the greatest pollution problem we face today is negativity. And I don't think anybody can deny that, especially lately. And she said to eliminate the negative attitude. And like I said previously, replace if I can, I hope, and maybe with I can, I will, I must. I found that sometimes when I'm trying to reach a goal, the greatest obstacle is me, my mindset. So I thought a little bit about this, and I think sometimes that we play to win, and sometimes we play just to not lose. Okay, so when you play to win, you're in your faith zone, F-A-I-T-H, your faith zone. You feel confident, you have belief, you trust in yourself, you trust in your team members. When you play to win you just know you're going to win. You play your guts out and you have fun doing it. It's not something you do begrudgingly. Playing to not lose is different. That comes from a place of fear. That's more like, I hope we can do it. I think we might do it. So we're pushing really hard, but we're not sure how it's going to happen. So the good thing is that our attitude is a choice we make. I think we really need to think about that, because sometimes I forget that. It's a choice that we make. So are you choosing faith or are you choosing fear? Are you choosing success in your business? Which zone are you in? The faith zone or the fear zone? What is your mindset right now? Are you playing with belief in your goals, with confidence in what you can do? Your mindset, your belief, your confidence is going to give you energy. And that could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. Because if your mindset isn't right, if your belief isn't there and your confidence is lacking, then your energy is going to be low and it could bring you down. So you could be playing the game not to lose. But if your mindset is right, in the right place, and you're filling it with the right things, your belief is high and your confidence is energized, and you're going to be bringing forth positive energy towards your goal. And it's drastically going to affect the way things look for your future and going forward. So here are some things that I do to help deal with the space between my ears. I visualize, and I've been taught this by so many people, but taught it and practicing it, you're taught, you listen to it, but then you have to make it happen. You have to utilize it. Visualize what you want to achieve. Visualize the completion of your goal. So what's it going to look like when your director helps you slip on your red jacket with your family and your unit members looking on? Picture that in your head. What's it going to look like when you walk into the car dealership and there's a brand new car sitting in the showroom and your family and your friends are gathered around to celebrate you as a Mary Kay career car achiever? What's it going to look like when you walk across the stage with your director at seminar as a brand new sales director? Picture those things in your mind. And the second thing is do your best. That was always something my parents always taught me. Math was not my best subject. Name it algebra. I was good at like math, like addition, subtraction. I was great at that because you could memorize that. I wasn't so great at algebra, but they always said, try your best and do your best. There's just so many things that we cannot control. So we can't control who's going to say yes to a facial. We can't control who's going to book with us. We can't control how much they're going to buy or if they even buy at all. And then there's life. We definitely can't control life. We can't control illnesses. We can't control that the washing machine breaks. We can't control that there was a hailstorm and it wrecked the roof of our houses. But you can do your best and you can have fun working towards your goal. You can control your attitude. The third thing is call your director. She's your biggest cheerleader. She wants you to succeed. She's likely had the same fears and doubts that you're experiencing. Even now as a director, I still call my senior director, Jana, when I need an attitude adjustment or just when I'm having a bad day. And then we talk for a while and then we both feel better. So anyway, remember that attitude is a choice. It's your choice and no one else's. It's going to determine if you reach your goal. So that's my take on attitude.
I love it, Rosie. That was perfect. That was
Thank
perfect.
you.
And you have a great attitude.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
It's been something I've really honestly had to work on a lot. I mean, I always thought I had a positive attitude,
Right.
but it's easy to have a positive attitude when things are going well,
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
so.
That's so true. That's so true. Okay, so the next one, Laree is gonna, and I just have one big old slide, so I just want y'all to look at it, then I'm gonna let her unmute and talk. So the things that everybody's talked to so far, I got off the Mary Kay website, and these were things that were important to Mary Kay. And everything that they read you was actually quotes from our founder. She was so wise, you guys. And so and as I'm listening, I'm like, how lucky are we that we're in a company with a woman that would put such great things in our mind that we can use in our everyday life, not just Mary Kay. I'm so thankful for that. So let me just bring on Laree, and she's going to talk just a few things. I asked her to talk about some fun traditions that Mary Kay has had through the years.
Okay. Well, I love talking about this because that is part of the culture of the company. And it's just, that's some of the things that we have to pass down. Just like in biblical times, you have to pass down traditions. And so one of the things that is still very much a part of Mary Kay is when we are doing Mary Kay business. I want to talk about the tradition of the Mary Kay image. And one of the things, she always wanted you to wear a dress or a power suit. Back in the day, we had to wear closed-toed shoes with hose. You had to wear pantyhose when you went to do a party or a facial, or we almost took it to the extreme sometimes, because if I was not dressed right, I would not even mention Mary Kay because that image was so ingrained in me. She wanted, us to have our nails done and our hair fixed. You didn't have to go and pay somebody to do your hair, do your nails, but you needed to be manicured. You needed to look the part. And definitely you had to have your Mary Kay face on. But the reason for that was because it builds your confidence. Because she said, maybe not everybody looks good in pants, but everybody looks good in a dress. Everybody looks good excuse me, in nice shoes and pantyhose. But this self-confidence, she knew, would help you grow personally, and it would help you just grow to the point that you could ask for the sale. And I guess everybody else is reading, so I pulled out some stuff too. But I was just kind of scanning through Mary Kay, You Can Have It All, the book, to kind of prepare for this. And I came across a story about Mary Kay had went to buy a vehicle, and she said the salesman never would ask for the sale. She went into the dealership to buy a car, and the guy just hauled around and just never really closed the sale. And she said by the time she got done looking at the car, going in there to purchase the car, she didn't even know if she wanted to do it anymore. It's like he talked her into and out of the sale back and forth. And I can look back over my time, and I've probably done that at parties too. But she said that confidence help. She said the very next day she went to another dealer and bought a car, but that salesman was totally different. He had the confidence to know that he could close the sale and that she should be buying that. But she said years ago, while I was conducting a training session in Houston, I talked about the importance of having a good self-image. When you have confidence in yourself, you'll create a positive buying environment. I said, by having your hair, nails, and makeup done properly, you'll feel good about yourself, and this will come through to your customers. If you don't have a dress that makes you feel like $1 million, go buy one. If you have just one dress in your closet that makes you feel wonderful, the one you receive compliments on whenever you wear it, wear that dress to every skincare class until you can afford to buy another one. In the audience was a consultant who had never held a $100 skincare class. Even though she and her husband were having hard times financially, and she had not bought a dress for 3 years, she bought one as soon as the session was over. That night, she conducted her first $100 skincare class. Evidently, she decided that the new dress was good. 2 would be better. She purchased another dress before her next skincare class. Again, she held a $100 class. She bought a third dress, and for the third time in a row, held a $100 class. Having gone 3 for 3, she was convinced she had found the secret to her success. At the meeting the following Monday, she announced, buy a new dress and you're sure to have a $100 skincare class. Obviously, buying a new dress wasn't the reason for her newfound success. Her improved appearance made her feel confident. In turn, she was more enthusiastic and believed she would succeed. I've seen many salespeople who had lucky suits or ties. When they wore those items, they had outstanding days. Of course, the customer doesn't buy because she likes the salesperson's dress or tie. The customer buys because the salesperson with a good self-image knows he or she is going to make the sale. A young girl putting on her first prom dress glows with the certainty that she looks beautiful, and we all have a similar radiance when we know we're looking our best. While clothes may not make the woman, they certainly have a strong effect on her self-confidence, which I believe does make the woman. And so I loved that because that so appropriately explained why, because, over the years I've had different people come in and say, well, I don't want to wear a dress. And I'm like, but we do it because Mary Kay asked us to. And honestly, that was good enough for me. But I love the explanation there because it really does show that it does help you feel more confident. Even yesterday, I was in the airport in Atlanta, and we had to get up at 5 o'clock that morning to get ready to get on the plane and have everything loaded. And so I didn't dress the way that I normally do when we go to Dallas. When we go to Dallas, we go in a dress. We have nice heels, and we look like Mary Kay is coming to town when we get off that airplane. But I just didn't even feel right in the airport because I had on tennis shoes and jeans. And I'm like, I should have dressed up for this. Who could I have run into if I was looking my part? So that's one of the traditions of Mary Kay that I wanted to mention. Another is the company image. And she expected you to keep a clean car when you're delivering Mary Kay products, especially if you're in a Mary Kay car. It needs to be clean. Your consultant, if they come to meet you at the car or happen to walk out talking with you or something, they don't need to look in your car and see McDonald's papers and, junk and clothes and everything else. It needs to look like a professional business transaction. She didn't want you to chew gum at your parties, and she didn't want you to drink alcohol at your parties. Because there again, it's just that professional image. She wanted you to treat this like a business because she knew that if you treated it like a business, it would pay you like a business. One of the things too is that I was always taught is don't let your hostess help you carry all your stuff out to the car. And the other thing is like, I'm one of those that, if I go to the grocery store, I want to get it all. I mean, I'm like a pack mule. I'll get it all in because I want to make one trip. But in Mary Kay, I had to be taught you don't come with both shoulder bags and this and your back pocketbook slung over your neck, opening the door, knocking on the door with you looking like a pack mule. You go to the door and you knock on the door and, hi, how are you? And then you come in, you do your greeting, and then you say, I just got to get a few things from the house. And it doesn't matter how many trips, but you do not want it to look hard. You don't want it to look like, you got to be Hercules to be able to be a beauty consultant. And so that's just some of the other traditions that, sometimes we have to be taught, but then there's a reason behind it that is to help us. One of the other traditions dealt with relationships, and I didn't read the posts that the things that they were reading beforehand, but Connie even mentioned about the golden rule. That's part of that relationship tradition, is treating other people the way that you want to be treated. That goes with our customers and our sister consultants. And I had written down the same thing Sayla said about everybody wears a sign, make me feel important. And if we just go into a party or something with that in mind, that makes all the difference. And then the third part about relationships that I wanted to mention was praise people to success. She had an uncanny ability, and unfortunately, I was never able to actually meet Mary Kay, but I've heard so many stories at seminar and leaderships and different trainings that I feel like I know her. I feel like she talked to me the way she talked to some of them. And they say that she just had this just unparalleled and unique ability to tell you exactly what she meant, but she did not do it in a debilitating way. She didn't do it in a way that put you down. She raised that level of expectation so that you would rise to it, but so that she would encourage you and let you know that she knew you could do it differently. And so then the fourth tradition I wanted to talk about was the business part of the traditions, and that is positive affirmations. Just like Rosie was talking about earlier, that self-talk is so important and about playing to win instead of playing not to lose. And that was something that, is not really taught other places about how you speak to yourself, but she wanted you to, and, in every national, all the different trainings that I've been to is use those positive affirmations and tell your mind how you want to think. Another one is having a weekly sales meeting and going to it, attending it, whether it's virtually. I mean, before March, it was face to face. Show up to your weekly meeting. That was a tradition, a time honored tradition, because, Mary Kay knew that if the coals stayed together, the fire would stay hot. But if one coal removed it, if you picked one up and took it over here away from the fire, that fire goes out of the coal, the heat dies. And so you've got to stay connected. You've got to stay plugged in to the source, because we are in business for ourselves, but we need that encouragement. We need that sisterhood. And Mary Kay was so wise in what she did and the ways that she set things up. Just like Cleta was talking about earlier, even in the guide back then, you go to your sales meeting, you do the work, you go to leadership, you go to a seminar, you go to career conference. Those things are so important, and they're traditions, again, that are born out of Mary Kay's wisdom about women and how we work and how we think and how we need that sisterhood. Another tradition was singing at the meeting. Now, we don't do that so much anymore, but we do play music, and we get up and we dance and we sing and we have a good time. Back in the day, we sang that Mary Kay enthusiasm. You got that Mary Kay enthusiasm down in your heart. There, and so we sang the whole song. And another one that Rosie mentioned it when she was talking, act enthusiastic. It was a chant we did. You started out kind of slow, act enthusiastic, and you'll be enthusiastic. Act enthusiastic, and you'll be. And so you got faster and faster and faster. And believe me, at the end of singing those songs or doing that act enthusiastic and you'll be enthusiastic chant, you cannot help but be smiling and laughing and being in a good mood. And so when you start your sales meetings out like that, it just changes the environment, and it teaches us that we have control over our environment. If you're not happy, if you chant act enthusiastic and you'll be enthusiastic slow and get as fast as you can in just a few seconds, believe me, it will change your outlook. And so some of those are just the business traditions that she taught us. And then the fifth one and final one that I wanted to talk about was the traditions of legacy. And that is sharing your stories to keep the traditions alive, to keep the culture alive, and to perpetuate that legacy of the foundational principles of Mary Kay. And when I've listened to different nationals, that's one of the things that is just really their purpose, or one of their true purposes, is to keep that legacy of Mary Kay alive and to keep that vision alive. And so for Cleta, I just wanted to say thank you for this meeting and for doing your part to keep these traditions alive and to remind us how far we've come and yet how much we've stayed the same, and that it's our purpose to pass it on and to continue this legacy and to continue to let people understand and embrace and just make these traditions part of their own heart and mind. Because I've always heard that, once Mary Kay gets in your heart is when you'll truly be a success. And once you understand that these traditions and these things that we do are just so wise to help us be all that we can be for our families and for our customers and our team members, then it just makes everything so much easier.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you, Loree. And it's funny about the singing at the meeting, because the first time I went to a Mary Kay meeting, everybody was doing that. I got that Mary Kay enthusiasm up in my head. Where? Up in my head. I'm like, all right, up in my, and like, then we would do it. And after we would do it, we start every single meeting and every single seminar when Mary Kay was alive, we would start it. And it did, the meeting, no matter what your problem was at home or at work, you felt better. And then you were ready. She used to say, you just have to get your people ready to receive. And you got to get them up and singing and, get them enthusiastic before they're going to hear anything else you say. And so she was very, very smart. And I did have the privilege of getting to meet her. And it was life-changing, just absolutely life-changing. So I hope you've enjoyed these tidbits. I'm sorry we've run out of time to let a lot of other people speak, but Sharon, she's one of our directors. I finally realized why she's on here. Isn't that so funny? But she's good friends of Connie Bush. And so I saw this director popping in on here and I'm like, well, hey, and I had no idea. But anyway, she looks so pretty tonight. And Sharon, I want you to just really quick put that jacket back on because I want everybody to see something really quick. She's going to put her Mary Kay jacket back on. And Katie, I know Katie is one of our directors here, and she is a newer director. So Katie, I'm sure all of this is going to encourage you on some of the reasons why we do what we do in Mary Kay. So Sharon, I'm gonna spotlight you for a minute, and you can just go ahead and unmute. You guys, Sharon, you got yourself unmuted, girl. Okay, she has on. Look at all these bumblebees. Okay, she told me she doesn't have them all on because it might start to get tacky. I'm telling you what, I probably would have them all on because anyway, but she has done the National Queen's Court of Sharing 14 times, you guys. Wow. That's a lot. I was just sitting here, 14 times 24, if that's all she got, that's 336 recruits. And so I asked her before the meeting started, we were on here, and I said, Sharon, you know, she's been in the company 25 years. I said, what is your key to that, you know? And tell them what you told me. This is really, get your piece of paper. Everybody get
you're so sweet
piece of paper down.
To let me be on here. I just really feel very privileged to be here. And I just ask, you know, I don't even not ask. And I used to ask, don't you want to be in Mary Kay? And the answer was always no. So I had to change the language a little bit and just say, what would it take for you to consider Mary Kay? Can I tell you about it? And then listen to what she says, you know, and learn how to overcome the objections. I would guess that I would say that it's important that you know the verbiage to, I have to talk to my husband. I have to do this. And then you know, I would say, well, what do you think he'd say? Don't you think he'd want you to do it if you wanted to do it? You know, and basically I have to just say, I ask every person that I come in contact with, and, you know, 1 out of 5 will listen. Yeah. That's enough for me, you know, and it's just such a great opportunity. I think about myself, if I hadn't come into Mary Kay and I was a personal use person, I spent $50 with my consultant, and I said, that's way too much. I need to get this product at cost. And that's how I came in. And, you know, that's basically what I do. I just ask.
I love it. I just wanted you guys to hear her and to, I just wanted you to hear what she said, how easy it is, you know, just ask. And so why do we not have more recruits? We're just not asking enough people. That's it. That is 100% it. And if you take yourself back, if you're a director, when you were in qualification, there was not a stone that went by that you didn't ask. You know, you would ask a tree to join Mary Kay. You're like, hey, I used to sit in the restaurants. I get so anxious because I look around at all these women. And I'm like, I just want to stand up and scream and say, does anybody want to sell Mary Kay around here?
No, that's right.
And I just wanted to take my business cards and throw them up in the air and let everybody have one. But then, you know, when you've been in a while, then you kind of slow down on that enthusiasm. And so Sharon, that inspires me, all those bees. And so that is what we'll end on tonight is the Mary Kay Bumblebee. Mary Kay had that as a tradition, that aerodynamically, the bumblebee is not supposed to be able to fly with a very thin wings, but they do it anyway. She said women should not, you know, the world thinks they shouldn't be able to run a business and put God first, their family second, and have an awesome career, but we do it anyway. And so that's why she gives the diamond bumblebee pins. And so, you know, I love that tradition in Mary Kay. I know all the directors were going for the bee this year, the big honking bee. And then the little bee as well, for 24 for ourselves and 50 for our unit. And so I know we can do that, y'all. No matter if we're a touch behind or not, we can catch up and we can get that big honking bee. So thank you guys for contributing tonight. You did a great job. I appreciate you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and end our YouTubers. You guys, thank y'all, the YouTubers. Y'all, we got a lot of people on YouTube that watch this. You would not believe. And so we thank y'all for coming in here. We see you. We don't see you, but we see you. And we appreciate you. So we're going to tell our YouTubers